Hi, this is my second video in my TL2105 Sports for International Development series. In this presentation, I shall be analysing the contribution of sport for international development, whilst talking about the difference between sport and physical activity, what is sport and development and sport for development, how the sport contributes to support wider development goals, and sport's role in development. Sport is an activity involving physical exertion and a skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment. Sport includes structured and unstructured play and recreational activities, physical education and exercise, casual, organised and competitive sport, indigenous sport or games. Physical activity is defined as any bodily movement produced by skeletal muscles that requires energy expenditure. Physical inactivity has been identified as the fourth leading risk for global mortality, causing an estimated 3.2 million deaths globally. The reason for staying active is it reduces mortality rates and other health risks. It's a good way of social inclusion and also works towards many other wider development goals, as you'll see later in this presentation. What is sport for development? Sport for development refers to the use of sport as a tool to improve people's lives and enlarge people's choices. The aims of sport for development is to improve participation opportunities, develop players and coaches within the sport, reduce gender inequality, reduce barriers to participation for other minority groups, improve health standards and provide education for people. What is sport development? Sport development is the processes, policies and practices that form an integral feature of the work involved in providing sporting opportunities. Sports development can create opportunities at all stages of sport, from grassroots or the foundation stage up to elite and the excellent stage. And you can see on the right the sports development continuum, which shows all the various standards. The main focus of sports development is on social, educational or health goals. Sport development is to be delivered through sports partnerships or agencies working separately or together to again work towards wider development goals. So where is sport being used to help development? To aid development and reach goals such as MDGs and SDGs, which was discussed in the previous video, sport is being provided by governing bodies, international sporting organisations, governments and NGOs, which is non-governmental organisations. Contribution of sport to support wider development goals. Ingrid Butler has described some of the benefits of sports and physical activity identified that works towards achieving the Millennium Development Goals. Some are having a positive impact on public health and disease and prevention. This will obviously work towards combating things like HIV, AIDS, malaria and other diseases. Developing more cohesive and sustainable community development. Obviously creating a better global partnership for development. Tackling antisocial behaviour and fear of crime, ensuring young people get the best possible start in life, an important element for achieving sustainable development, raising educational standards and integral components of quality education, individual empowerment, especially of women and girls, promoting gender equality, combating discrimination, reducing barriers of people taking part in sport, social integration and development of social capital, and preventing conflict and resolutions, creating resolutions for peace building, contributing to lasting peace, ensuring environment sustainability. The IOC also support wider development goals. The goal of Olympia is to place sport at the service of the harmonious development of a man, with a view to promoting a peaceful society concerned with the preservation of human dignity. Sport is not just physical activity, it promotes health and helps prevent or even cure disease of modern civilization. It also is an educational tool which fosters cognitive development, teaches social behaviour and helps to integrate communities. Again, if you look to the right, we'll be working towards some of the MDGs set. An example of an NGO contributing to support wider development goals is EduSport Foundation. This is Zambia's most prominent development NGO and has achieved local and community development goals. This foundation has an approach to tackling issues in the community that works towards a more sustainable community. To ensure they follow the ethos that children will learn better through peer leaders, where children leaders are trained as young leaders themselves. These peer leaders are then trained to be able to work with the younger children, teaching them about education, gender inequality, women's and girls' rights, along with making them realise all the health issues that come along with them. This is making the younger generation aware of all the MDGs that have been identified at this current moment. Sport's role in development. Sport has a key role in helping to develop local communities and governments to help improve individuals' lives, especially in low economically developed areas across the world. United Nations have said sport development can help improve child well-being and development, teach them core skills, values and respect, provide employment opportunities for the future, bring individuals and communities together, breaking down barriers and inequality, and also help improve the infrastructure of the area. Impacts of using sport to develop. So according to Sport England, regular participation in sport can provide benefits to both individuals and the communities. More local people participating as volunteers in community life. Local people have greater voice and influence over decision making. More cohesive, tolerant and inclusive communities that value diversity. A reduction in youth offending and antisocial behaviour. A reduction in crime and alcohol and drug misuse too. As you can also see on the right hand side, Sport England have found some key findings. Young people's participation in sport improves their numeracy scores by 8% on average above non-participants. Underachieving young people who take part in sport see a 29% increase in numeracy skills and a 12 to 16% rise in other transferable skills. Unemployed people who participate in sports are 11% more likely than non-participants to have looked for a job in the last 4 weeks. And lastly, returns on investment in sports programmes for at-risk youth are estimated at £7.35 of social benefit for every pound spent through financial savings to police, the criminal justice system and the community. Thank you for listening to my second video in this 3-part series, and I hope you'll watch my last video.